In this video, let's discuss about overlay network. So here I will use Docker Swarm to create a cluster, and let's see how the overlay network is used on this. Basically, an overlay network is a network that is built on top of another network and is supported by its infrastructure. In this demo, I will use two nodes, one Docker manager and one Docker worker. So we will create a Docker Swarm, a cluster out of it, and this we will talk about three network concepts which are important for Swarm service. So the overlay network, the ingress network, and Docker gateway bridge. The overlay network is basically used to manage communication among the Docker daemons participating in the Swarm. So you can read the details here. I will also post this information on the video description. So if you see that in the Docker network list, you can see this there is another ingress network which is also an overlay network. The ingress network is a special overlay network that facilitates this load balancing among the service nodes. Yeah, I will show this in the demo later. Yeah, we also have another called Docker Gateway Bridge, which is a bridge network that connects the overlay networks to an individual Docker daemon's physical network. Yeah, I will quickly start the Vagrant boxes, which will be Docker master or manager, and then the Docker worker node. So later we will install the Docker on it, and also create a Docker Swarm cluster out of it. I will fast forward the boot up process, and I will resume after the Docker has been started. Yeah, now the Docker is running. So I will just list the network which are present on this VM. So I have ETH0, ETH1. I will use the ETH1 to advertise when I create the Swarm network, Swarm cluster. So here's the command to create the initialize the Swarm network, Swarm cluster. So I will just note down the token. Later I will use this Docker Swarm join to add my work node. So let me also here you can see the node. It says ready, and also you can see the manager status leader. What I will do is now let me list the available networks on the Docker. So to do that, it's like a sudo Docker network list. Yeah, so take like see the ingress, it's an overlay network. We will take a look at that. So the ingress is network which is a special overlay network which for the load balancing which we will use. So if you do a network inspect and give the name of the ingress, so here you can see the type, it's driver is overlay. And so if you take a look at this driver type overlay, and you can see this config, it's head as a separate subnet and a gateway. This is an overlay network, and you can see the peers, which is currently the master node, which is the manager node. Yeah, so I like the JQ just to parse the JSON object, so I'll install it. So now again I will fast forward the video. I will install Docker on the worker node, and then later I will join the worker node to the cluster. The Docker is running here. So what I'll do is I'll just copy the Docker Swarm join token and I will join the Swarm cluster. You can see here that there's only one node right now, which is the leader, and when I add this one, we should be able to see the second one. It says joined Swarm as a worker. And now if I do inspect of this network, so we can see the new worker node ID and IP address. So this has been added to this overlay network. If I do an IP address on the worker node, this should be part of ETH1. Yeah. 33.11. Yep. So yeah, this has the next step. What I will do is I will create an custom overlay network, and then we will deploy an app using that. So yeah, everything will be displayed on the screen. If you have any question, please post it in the comment section. Now if I inspect this new overlay network, which is my network, I should not see any containers or service attached to it, and it should be empty. Yeah, you can see there's nothing, labels null. So now I will deploy a service which is an Nginx app. We will deploy we will set the replica as 3, and this service or app should be deployed across the cluster, which is manager and the worker node. So let's quickly deploy this app. So now it's preparing the application. Yeah, it's I think it's deployed now. Let's inspect the network again. The new overlay network. You can see here the oh, it's under the containers. You can see the containers here. Um, there are, I see only web3, web2. Okay, because the web1 is in the worker node, I believe. So if you go to the worker node and do a Docker network list, and we should have the my network here. And if I do a inspect of this network, inspect of my network, we should see the web1 here. Yeah, you can see the web1 here. Yep. And yeah, that's it. So take a look at the driver type. It's overlay, and we have a new subnet and gateway for this overlay network. I also have a video about CNI. If you like, you can take a look at it. Thank you.